Hello students, my name is Rohit Patak. I'm part of IT industry. It's almost 19 plus of 19 plus years, right? And in my last 19 years of career, I have worked on multiple technologies and multiple companies, right? But the mostly in network, telecom, and IT, right? Network, telecom, and IT. These are the three industries I worked till now, right? And most of the clients were either the enterprise level customers, telecom customers, right? And then I was involved delivering multiple IT projects, right? So here, first of all, before I start, I want to thank LABTECH Innovation to giving me this opportunity to share my experience till now, that is which will help you to decide your further career or decide further approach, right? So even you are in the learning phase right now, and even you are still in the third year or fourth year of your engineering career, right? But here, at least the knowledge which I share, I'm just expecting that this will help you to grow further, right? So thank you very much for LABTECH for giving me this opportunity, right? So before we start the career, right? So when we started our career, there were no guidance. There were no guidance provided, and there were no expert was available for us to that where to go, where to start, right? And how to prepare for it, right? Prepare for the career, right? So we went as a flow, right? But now we have multiple technologies available. There are guidance are available online, right? So this is going to be helpful, right? So here I'm here to share the knowledge experience till now I have in my IT career. The first of all, when we start the IT career, right? So one of the major thing, there are two major qualities we should have always, right? First is the behavioral part, another is the technology part, right? So I'll talk about the behavioral, because we day in day out we deal with the all the engineering pass out graduates, right? And then we see multiple many people are excellent, right? And many people need some time to reach at specific level, right? So I'll just talk about the behavioral part. So first and foremost, the requirement is that you should be always ready to learn the new things, right? So when you pass out your engineering, right? So it should not be like that. I know I want to work on this technology only, and this is the area I want to explore. No, right? You need to be flexible, right? Ready to take any opportunity, right? Because could be a possibility you are learning cloud today, but you might get opportunity somewhere in the cybersecurity area, somewhere in the artificial intelligence area, right? Or maybe as a developer you might work, right? So there are multiple areas you may get opportunity, because at the start of the career you are completely blank, right? And whichever area we put in, it's new for you, right? So you should first flexible, be ready for learn, right? So at least this will give an opportunity to grow faster, right? And then keep learning, right? So the continuous learning, right? So nowadays, if you see the IT trends, earlier the IT trends used to change at every 10 years or 15 years, but nowadays IT trends are changing till last few years, right? It was changing every 5 years, but nowadays trends are changing in every year actually, right? So to match with the market requirement, you should always be updated for that, right? And then always flexible to learn anything, right? And now it's quite easy to achieve. The reason behind, because the contents are quite easily available, right? So there are multiple social media platforms are available, multiple training portals are available, which will help you to gain the required knowledge, right? So it's not limit. There is no limit for the knowledge, right? It's up to you how much you are flexible, how much you are interested, and then how much you want to explore, right? It's all depends on that. So this is the behavioral nature. I would suggest that if you have this nature, I'm sure you will succeed in IT for sure, right? So this talks about the behavioral part. Now come to the technology part, right? So if you are already seeing that technology have changed in last 5 to 10 years a lot, right? And then specifically after COVID, it has completely changed the IT sector, right? So earlier we used to visit the office every day, right? And we have 9 to 6, 9 to 5 job, or there are multiple shift, depends on the we work for multiple clients, right? But now it has completely changed. Most of the IT engineers and the IT people are working from home or working on hybrid model, right? So this has changed a lot in last few years, right? And it has changed in the technology requirement side also, right? So earlier the cloud, first and foremost, I'll talk about the cloud, right? So cloud was started somewhere in 2008 and 2009, right? But it took time to take a pace, right? And then somewhere it got started picking up, and then popularity somewhere around 2012 or 2013, right? In India, it has started somewhere in 2015 or so, right? But it has picked up very quickly, very fast after COVID. Right, so because people have started thinking that now I need to work on a hybrid model and to work on the virtual model, right? So we need the virtual infrastructure, right? The virtual infrastructure should be very strong enough, or the virtual infrastructure should be ready to cope up with the latest requirement, right? So that has changed the trend, and then slowly all the organizations started moving towards the cloud, right? So cloud is the basic thing that which you can explore from now, right? So which will by the time you pass your engineering, you will be at stage that at least you can talk about that, right? So nobody is expecting you to have the practical knowledge, but at least if you have a theoretical knowledge also and the practice, right? So I'm sure you will be able to pass any discussion or any interview with any company, right? So I'll just talk about the cloud specifically. So cloud is the basic requirement nowadays, and then each and every individuals, right? Whichever each individual is in whichever stream, right? But cloud is the must to have technology which individuals should know and then learn, right? So in the cloud, you start with in the start. I would suggest you can take any provider, right? So in the market there are multiple cloud providers, but the main three are Microsoft Azure, AWS, it's under the company of Amazon, and the Google Cloud, right? So these are the three providers. I'm sure you must have already heard because you're already studying in IT, right? But these are the three providers. You can choose any provider, whichever you like, right? Because at the back end, the services are same, the basics are same, they have the different names. That's it. But you can choose any provider, start learning the things, start with the fundamental training, right? Each individual have their fundamental trainings and the certifications. So I would say that you can start with those certifications from now, right? And then you can learn them from their own their individual website learning portals also, or you can learn from the multiple other third-party providers, third-party learning portals. There you can go and learn, right? But start preparing from now. Like I would give an example of Azure fundamentals. Like the certification name is AZ900, right? So it's basic fundamental training. Now under that there are multiple sections. There is a security part, there is an containerized part, right? So there are multiple trainings you can attempt, right? So try to explore that from now. Next level, if you find it's very interesting after clearing the fundamentals, there are next level of there are engineering certifications, there are architect certifications, right? So there are, and then administrator certifications. So these you can explore all these certifications from now, right? And then decide your area that where you want to go, right? So these are on the cloud side. Under the cloud, there are multiple, right? So now when cloud was introduced somewhere in 2008 or so, right? So it was earlier everything as an infrastructure, right? So there are three sections under cloud: infrastructure as a code, platform, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service, right? So when it was started, everybody was moving because earlier all the infrastructure was sitting in on-prem, right? So in our own data centers, right? But now, and then it was exist in the form of desktop, laptop, or the server, right? So same way, we were purchasing those servers from the provider, multiple providers outside like HP, Compaq, right? And IBM, there are multiple providers. So we used to purchase them. But when cloud was introduced, right, we used to simply go to the portal, available publicly, but create the virtual machines and go online. So cloud is quite flexible. So when earlier we used to create the data, our own data centers, so we have to plan the things, we need to purchase those servers, we need to configure them, we need engineers to maintain them, configure them, right? And then after some life, maybe 4 to 5 years, it is an end of life, and then we need to buy the new servers, right? So this is the way the cost of IT, it was keep on increasing and keep coming. But now we move to the cloud, and cloud has removed all these hurdles, right? Now we do not need people so buying, the cost of buying is already gone away, right? Now we do not need people to maintain those servers. We do not need the data centers and to maintain the security of that. Everything is provided by all these public cloud provider, right? And we just simply move there, create our own infrastructure, right? Create our own applications, and then go live in a few minutes, right? So that has changed the life by moving the cloud, right? Now I talk about I already discussed about the three different types of infrastructure which cloud provides: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? So when we started this moving to the cloud, it started with IaaS. Slowly the trend has changed. In last 10 years, people have stopped using IaaS services because they are quite costly, right? And we need people or experts to maintain them. So if it's Windows Windows infrastructure, then we need Windows experts. If it's a Linux experts, Linux infrastructure, we need Linux people, right? So we were, and then to patch them, maintain them. So we need people to maintain them. Slowly, what all company have decided to moving to the PaaS services, which is a platform as a services. Platform as a services have removed those hurdles and removed those dependencies. At the back end, Microsoft it, or this provider is taking care of that, maintaining that. We just need to load our applications, code that, and then release, right? So we just need to concentrate on the application part, not on the infrastructure side. So that has reduced the hurdle. Slowly we are now from PaaS to SaaS. We are slowly we are moving to the SaaS, software as a service, right? So these providers, these companies nowadays started providing the direct as a software, right? So we are just going to be end user, right? So at the back end, infrastructure will be provided, maintained by the cloud provider, and the application side, this application development part will be also maintained by the provider. We are just going to be an end user, and we are just going to be asking that these are the features I need, right? So this is the way the trend is changing, right? Even under the PaaS, right? So there is another service got introduced, is containerized services, right? So the Kubernetes, you must have already heard of the Kubernetes services, right? So that is completely changed, right? So and then the cost, right? So slowly moving from IaaS to PaaS. From PaaS to containerized based services, cost is keep getting increased, and for all these PaaS and SaaS services, you are just paying what you use, right? If you are not using anything, you are not paying anything, right? So we are paying here for services, not for the infrastructure, right? So and they call it a pay as you go, right? So this is the model they have introduced, and then it's quite successful. But other side, we need expertise, and then we need quite controlled there, because if cloud resources are like this, if you do not maintain them, right, the cost will keep increase, right? So we do have so many services available which are suggesting that this is there is an additional cost is going in, you can reduce that, right? So there are multiple services are provided by this cloud provider, right? So this is the high level input of cloud, and then these are the basics you can learn in your engineering time, and then explore that, right? So I'm sure this will be this will help you to decide your further career. So cloud is one stream, right? Then the next part is slowly, you must have heard already, artificial intelligence and the machine learning, right? So artificial intelligence, machine learning. So nowadays it's you have already heard the generative AI, or if you're not heard, so these are the latest trend going on, and then all the companies, specifically all the three providers also, they are creating their own services on generative AI and the responsible AI, right? So generative AI and responsible. So generative AI is a service which itself learns from the data what we provide, right? It creates their own view, right? So it creates own content, like it creates video content, text contents, voice contents, right? So it creates multiple type of contents of this generative AI, and then the end user will use it, right? So and then it's a system itself generated, right? So there is no manual intervention except the providing the data. So generative, I'll give an example of generative AI. It's so generative AI does what it does is we create. So normally, if you want to develop some application, right? So we have a team of, take an example, we have a team of 15 or 20 people, right? So earlier, when we want to deliver some application, we used to need 15 to 20 people, like, and then as part of the team, we have developers, we have project manager, we have scrum master, we have architect, right? And then we have at the end the support team, right? So we have 15 to 20 people to support them. But now, just because of generative AI, we just simply, what we need to do, we need to provide the inputs to the system, and itself it will create the code itself, and then deliver the application, right? So this is as fast as possible. So earlier, number of people got reduced, the overall timeline, so delivering, so go to market, right? So the time to market, right? So time to market got reduced for any applications, right? So this is the way the software delivery got faster, right? And then the cost of delivering the software is also reduced, right? So this AI, right? So this generative AI and the responsible AI is going to be disruptive for sure in the market, right? But again, it will be creating more new opportunities for future also, right? So this is another area that AI and machine learning you can explore, right? And the responsible AI, right? So responsible AI is purely talk about it's so on, right? So there are contents, right? So we cannot cover or control all the contents, what it from where it learns, right? So we need, on top of that, we have responsible AI to control the contents, and we have to make sure that ethically whatever contents we are viewing are right. Right, it's also covers about the data security, right? So on generative AI, there is on top of responsible AI, right? So these are the two latest trend going on in the market, right? I'm sure you will find so many learnings already outside on social media, so you can explore that. But these are the another technology you can explore. And the last one is the cybersecurity, right? So right, so nowadays everything on public, right? So because no one want to use and invest in huge infrastructure, right? So everybody has started moving to the public. So the cybersecurity is another big stream where you can explore and then learn, right? So there are multiple certifications already available, right? So I'll talk about the CISA, right? So CISA is again the security certification provided by ISC Square, right? So that's something you can start learning from now, and there are multiple small trainings like penetration trainings, and then network security trainings, right? So the security is it's not something, the security is at cloud level only. The security comes from ground, right? So start from physical layer, right? So physical layer till layer. So there are OSI levels, right? So at each and every layer there is a security, right? So security is the major topic, right? And then in the market there are a very shortage of the security people, right? So you can explore this another stream, which is I'm sure going to be very helpful, right, for your further career path.